Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Southern Gateway Chorus live stream. My name is Zach Coleman. I'll be your host for this evening. You know, we've had a lot of fun on these streams, and this week I decided I wanted to give you guys a taste of just what makes Gateway Gateway, where we're from. And we're from, well, right here, but we'll get to that a little later. We're just going to take this kind of just between us today. Just me, just you guys. So keep me company in the chat, and let's see what kind of fun we can have. Before we get too far into anything, first of all, I would like to say, please, if you haven't already, subscribe to the Southern Gateway Chorus YouTube page, and if you are so inclined, leave a like on this stream or video if you're watching it later. Talk with me in the chat, leave a comment if you're watching later. Just get in touch. Let's have some fun. Second of all, big shout out to ICRC TV. They have provided a lot of content that we have done over the years and recorded it for us and edited it for us and are allowing us to use that for literally nothing. We just get to use it. So shout out to them. They are the greatest ever. Now, let's get into our first clip of the night. Gonna take things a little quick because I gotta get this last one. I'm so excited. So we're gonna start today with something that's relatively near and dear to Gateway, which is our music. What a lot of people might not know is that there used to be a Southern Gateway Chorus band, and they would play throughout wherever we were for contests. Maybe we'll get some footage of that at some point. I don't know if it exists. But here, we will start our show with Southern Gateway Chorus performing I Love a Parade.
76 trombones and 110 cornets will be marching in the big parade today. Oh, I love a parade, with rhythmic beat. I love every beat. I hear a drum, I hear a drum now. I love a parade, when I hear a band, I just want to stand. The cheers they come as they come. Rat-a-tat, the blare of the horn. Rat-a-tat, the bright uniform. On the side of the drill will give me a thrill. I thrill the skill of anything military. I love a parade, a handful of bayonets, dead surrendering brigade. For I love a parade. Now the ready to go, hear the clarinet blow. The leader man is waving his hand. Let the drums roll out, the trumpets call, the people shout, ready, strike up the band. The cymbals ring, sing for one and all. The marshals swing like whack, strike up the band. There is work to be done, there are songs to be sung. Leader man, your son of the gun, take your stand. Get in the flow, come on, let's go. Hey, leaders, strike up the band. I hear a band now. I love a parade. So let me sound, 'cause I love the sound and I'll never trade. 'Cause I'm telling ya, I love a parade. Love a parade. Love a parade. Love a parade.
And that was I Love a Parade. And that just goes to show the first place that Gateway claims to be from, and that is music itself. Whether it's barbershop, whether it's instrumental, whether it's dubstep, probably not dubstep. It's just music, and that's what we do, and it's what we've always done, and I'm sure you're not surprised by that, considering part of our name is Chorus. Anyway, let's move on a little bit, because we would be remiss if not to say that where is Gateway from but America? It's not very surprising to know that barbershop is one of the few purely American things that exists. There are other places that could claim pastries, so apple pies, maybe. There are other places that could claim versions of baseball, so baseball, maybe. But barbershop was a thing that happened in American barbershops. And it's one of the only real American things out there. And so, in 1972, if you're counting at home, that's 200 years after America had been founded, or whatever terminology we use, not a history buff. We put on a show, or I should say they put on a show, I was not born yet, called Happy Birthday to Us, or US, depending on how you want to read that. Now, we've had some history buffs on this show, a lot of barbershop history buffs, people who know a lot of barbershop history, people who knew a lot of people from barbershop history, people who have been a part of barbershop history, but we all remember who's been on the show a couple of times, my dad, who is an actual history buff. Now, I like to kind of make his head explode, and I hope that you'll join me in that sentiment just a little bit, because as we all know, who discovered America? That's right, Christopher Columbus, when he sailed the ocean blue in 1942. I know that's the wrong date, it's okay. So, just to make his head explode a little bit more, let's journey back to 1972 to the production of Happy Birthday to US, and here, please, Mr. Columbus, turn the ship around.
Hey, Ben!
Who's there?
Hey, Paisan, it's me, Christopher Columbus!
Well, I'll be darned. Christopher Columbus. Well, I didn't know you too well. You were a little before my time. But you were famous for being the first European to discover America and everything, isn't that right?
Hey, and it wasn't easy. I had to beg Queen Isabella to lend me all of those boats. The TMB Nina, the TMB Santa Maria, and the TMB Pinta.
TMB? Well, I know that the HMS stands for the British ships, and the USS stands for the United States ships. But what does that TMB stand for?
Hey, Ben, that's Italian. It means, that's my boat.
Oh, God.
In 1492, 3 ships sailed out to sea, the Nina and the Pinta and the Santa Maria. And as they sailed the stormy sea on that historic day, from way up in the crow's nest you could hear Luigi say, turn the ship around. Take me back, I wanna feel my 2 feet on the ground. Oh, why you tell Isabella that the world is round? Please, Mr. Columbus, turn the ship around. And Hearst took out his mandolin and he began to play. They sang they ate up all the provolone and drank up all the wine. But still up in the crow's nest you could hear Luigi cry. Please, Mr. Columbus, turn the ship around. Take me back, I want to feel my 2 feet on the ground. Why you tell Isabella that the world is round? Please, Mr. Columbus, turn the ship around. And then when they decided land us on the starboard bow, Columbus said,
I told you so.
the journey's over now. And leaving all the Indians gathered on the shore, he said, we're pizza safe, I'm gonna ask you just once more. Please, Mr. Columbus, turn the ship around. The Indians look menacing, they mean to hold their ground. So if we land there on the sand, the boils pound for pound. Please, Mr. Columbus, turn the ship around. All right, I'm chicken. So please turn this ship around.
You know, on my little note sheet, there's a lot of 2s, okay? So I got maybe a little bit confused for a second, and maybe I said 72 and not 76. Thanks, Mom and Dad, for supporting me so much during a live stream to a bunch of people. Kidding. Yes, obviously that was 1976 and not 1972. My bad. Okay, but as you may have seen, you probably recognize Larry Finley as Ben Franklin. Yes, I almost said Abe Lincoln. Good Lord, I'm good at this job. And that was our good buddy Al Snyder as Christopher Columbus. That show, I'm going to have to watch the whole thing. I've only seen the snippets that have been on the show, but boy, that looked like a fun show. I mean, put Larry Finley in a Ben Franklin costume, and how can it not be fun, right? So let's move on. This next clip is a bit longer than the rest. Might take a little bit of setup, so allow me to tell you the third place that Gateway claims being from, and that is, of course, the great city of Cincinnati. And, you know, this place is kind of interesting. We are talking about a place that is very, very German, very, very Irish. We are talking about a place where in 2002, a cow escaped from cons and just was in Cincinnati. It was just running around and nobody could find it. A cow. Have fun with that one. But we go back to the crazy mind of Gary Ellerhorst when he wrote a little show called Somewhere Over the Rhinebow. Yes, Over the Rhine is a place in Cincinnati. Now, you probably have guessed what show this is parodying, which is, of course, The Wizard of Oz, where a young woman goes off to find a wizard to find her way home to Kansas. And, well, let alone, we can kind of assume that they weren't from Kansas in this version, but they were trying to find the Queen City, to find the Wizard of Was You Ever in Cincinnati Land, which is apparently the way some Cincinnatians talk, but for short they call him the Wizard of Vaz. Haha, puns, puns, puns. All right, let's get into it. So we thought, we put together a little compilation for you, thanks to good Paul Coleman, for putting together this compilation of the intros to the three big characters in the show. You know which three I'm talking about, so let's get into it. Enjoy the intros from Somewhere Over the Rhinebow.
Gee, Bobo, the road goes 3 different ways here, but I wonder which way is the right way to the Queen City.
Some people choose the easiest route.
Who said that?
Others like the fastest route.
Nonsense, Bobo. He can't talk.
Still, I always choose the cheapest route.
You can talk. Well, which is it?
I don't know. You see, I haven't got a brain.
Well, where we come from, scarecrows don't talk.
Well, actually, I'm not a scarecrow. I'm Mike Brown, owner of the local football team. After this last season, the fans stuffed me full of straw and hung me on this pole.
Well, my name is Dorky Fail, and this is Bobo. Let me get you down from there.
Gee, thanks. I've been up there since early January. After all this time, you'd think I could have come up with some really great ideas to improve the team. If I only had a brain.
Scarecrow swinging on a pole to a blackbird sitting on a fence.
Oh, the Lord gave me a soul, but forgot to give me common sense.
If he had an ounce of common sense,
we would not be 5-11, at least be 9-7 in the playoffs once again.
the playoffs once again.
With the guys I'd be drafting, what a team I could be crafting if I only had a brain.
Only had a brain.
I'd create a scoring riddle, not just hand it up the middle for a 1 or 2 yard gain.
A 1 or 2 yard gain.
With the thoughts I'd be thinking, our team would not be stinking thinking if I only had a brain. Oh, I could tell you why our offense was a bore. I could think of plays I'd never thunk before, and then I'd sit and watch them score. I'd go absolutely batty for a field named after Daddy near Pedro's Way in Maine. And perhaps I'd deserve it or be even worthier of it if I only had a brain. If he only had a brain, if he only had a brain.
Say, Mr. Brown, me and Bobo are going to see the Wizard of Oz-you-ever in Cincinnati land to give me a ride home. Now, if he can do that, I'm sure he can give you a brain.
The Wizard of who?
They call him the Wizard of Oz for short. Want to come along?
Oh, Dorky, could I? I wouldn't be any problem. I don't eat much, and I could protect you. I'm not afraid of anything. Well, except for one thing.
A lighted match?
No, choosing a beer on tap. You see, I've never been very good with a draft pick.
Who's that over there? Why, she's made of tin. What did she say?
I think she's saying anti-gag rule release form. What's that in her pocket?
Quick, give me a pen.
God, that feels good. The name's Marge. Hey, Strawhead, you got a light?
I don't smoke, and I'd appreciate it if you wouldn't either. I can handle being around secondhand talent, but not secondhand smoke.
Listen here, Barley Breath, this ain't no Delta flight. And I haven't had a nicotine stick since I've been down here.
Well, you don't need a brain to know that you shouldn't smoke.
All right, you two, knock it off. Now, how did you get stuck here like this?
Well, the Wicked Witch of the South had the baseball commissioner slap a gag roll on me. Can you believe it's because I didn't have a heart?
Oh, absolutely.
Buzz off, payhead.
Said a tin girl that the honor gives to a strong man sad and weary-eyed.
Oh, the Lord gave me 10 ribs, but forgot to put a heart inside.
Then she banged her hollow chest and cried.
Felt to me you would be fair to, I wouldn't be compared to Napoleon Bonaparte. Just because I'm presuming that I could be kind of human if I only had a heart. I'd be tender, I'd be gentle, and awful sentimental. I'd play a loving part. I would be much less director and politically correcter if I only had a heart. Picture me with George Clooney on an ER episode. When he checked my EKG, he says it showed that there's a beat. How sweet. I would not be called a Nazi or hang around with Shotzi. I'd have a brand new start. start. I would stay young and chipper if my tulips had a zipper and I only had a heart.
Say, Marge, we're going to the Queen City, where I'm going to ask the Wizard of Voz-U-Ever in Cincinnati land to give him a brain and to give me a ride home. Why don't you come with us?
The Wizard of who?
They call him the Wizard of Oz for short.
Do you think he can help me?
Sure.
God, he must be good.
Well, what are we standing here for? Let's get cracking.
All right then. To Voz?
To Voz.
Gee, it sure is getting darker out here. You don't suppose there are any wild animals around here, do you?
Hey, I think I saw a cow.
A cow in the woods. I'm supposed to be the one with no brain. I don't know about here, Dorky, but in our league, we often played the lions.
And tigers.
And bears.
Oh my.
Lions and tigers and bears.
Oh my.
Lions and tigers and bears.
Oh my.
Lions and tigers and bears.
Oh my.
What are you doing walking around here?
We're just passing through on our way to the Queen City.
What's it to you? And who are you?
Why, I'm Charlie Lucan. I'm the king of this forest, and all of you are violating curfew.
We're sorry, Mr. Lucan, but we didn't know anything about a curfew.
Ignorance of the law is no excuse. We'll just start by locking up your little pig there.
You touch my pig again, and I'll drop you like Tony McGee catching a pass over the middle.
Oh, please don't hit me. Please don't
I
hit me.
wasn't going to hit you. You just shouldn't pick on a poor, defenseless little pig.
Some king you are, afraid of a kid and his little pig.
Oh, I know. See, that's my problem. I thought this lion outfit would make me feel more like king of the beast. I want to be a good ruler, but it takes more than just a silly costume.
Said a lion, born to ride lion, to a miss who listened to him raving.
Oh, the Lord made me a lion, but the Lord forgot to make me brave.
His tail began to curl and wave.
Life is hard, believe me, missy, when you're thought of as a sissy by those you're sworn to serve. Oh, my life would be sweeter, I could be a better leader if I only had the nerve. I'm afraid there's no denying I'm called a paper lion, a fate I don't deserve. But I could show my prowess, be a lion, not a mouse, if I only had the nerve. Oh, I'd be filled with pride when we gathered to hear we've been named the National City of the Year. I bear the cross, 'cause I'm the boss. I would give 'em every ounce full and prove to city council my backbone doesn't curve. If I weren't such a geezer, I could be another Caesar if I only had the nerve.
Well, Mr. Lucan, we've discussed it, and we think you should come with us to the Queen City, where I'm going to ask the wizard to get me a ride home.
And to give me a brain.
And me a heart.
Well, do you really think he could give me courage?
Well, couldn't hurt to try. To Vaz?
To Vaz.
If he only had a brain, if she only had a heart, if he only had the nerve, they could sing most any part. So let's go see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz, the wonderful Wizard of Oz.
And boy, what a show that was. So, let's go ahead and unpack that for a minute. First of all, our good buddy Steve Thacker says, Mike Brown has such a great voice, never heard him sing solo. Yes, that was, the Scarecrow was Mike Brown, the owner of the Cincinnati Bengals, as played by our good buddy David Beaudry. And very much props to you, David Beaudry. I think we can all agree you've got the voice to go with this. So, next up was the Tin Man, who in this case was the Tin Woman. And that was Marge Schott, former owner of the Cincinnati Reds. You might see a theme here. And that was played by our very own Ray Grody, and what a performance that was as well. And, of course, the Cowardly Lion was Charlie Lukin, former mayor of Cincinnati, on to be congressman and things like that. Played by, everyone want to say at the same time? Jeff Legters. You can see some repeating characters throughout Gateway's history. This was one heck of a show, guys, and this was in 2002, and I was there for it. Of course, I was asleep through most of it, if not all of it. I'll explain that one another time. But this just goes to show all the stuff that Gateway's gotten into in our past, all the places that we've claimed to belong to, all the things we've said to belong to, the music, America, Cincinnati, maybe at some point in time Ohio, who knows. But at the end of the day, that's who we are, that's where we're from. And we'd love to hear where you guys are from. Comment, chat, all that stuff. You know where to find us, and this is the only place we can find you, so you gotta come to us. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. I had a good time this week. Hope you guys did too. Like I said in the beginning, if you haven't yet, go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Leave a like on this video. There's even a little bell icon down there. You can get notifications every time we post something. That might be kind of cool. And as always, on behalf of the Southern Gateway Chorus, I am Zach Holman, and have a good week.
May the road